Okay, so welcome one and all to the very first pilot episode of the podcast of Solitude. Uh, I'm your host Jordan, along with my two good buds and other hosts, Colm and Sam.
Hey, I'm Colin.
Hello, I'm Sam.
Yeah, so we thought we'd give this podcast nonsense a go, because we have conversations anyway about comic book movies and
We do.
games and whatnot, TV shows.
Yep.
And just figured this would give us an excuse to basically keep it on the up and up and keep up with each other.
Yeah, and keep talking.
Keep talking.
Yeah.
Not stopping.
Ever, for any reason.
Ever.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point of a podcast.
But we'll try stop for you so you aren't listening to us forever
Yeah, I mean, we'll stop the podcast, but
at some point.
not
We'll
sure.
never stop talking.
Yeah, so basically, we decided that we would start the podcast of Solitude because at the moment there's apparently a worldwide pandemic or something to that effect happening. And
Huh.
we're all in solitude. Yeah, you didn't hear. And also, myself, Colin, and Sam are isolated from each other by borders and water
It's very
and,
sad.
and legal restrictions surrounding a pandemic. So
Yes.
we have no choice but to do this alone, but together. And that's the point.
With
So,
you guys.
With you guys, our audience of zero. So,
Yes.
Yeah, we'll crack right into it. So, upcoming is the controversial and much anticipated Zack Snyder cut of the movie Justice League. And we thought, to begin with, what better way than to recap before we endure that and talk about the movies that Zack Snyder's had a hand in so far in the DCEU.
Yeah. We also found out today that between the three of us, there are a number of movies of the Snyder-verse which we have not seen together. So we will not be discussing them. Instead, we will be discussing Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and the original Justice League. Is that right?
Yeah.
And Wonder
Cool.
Woman. We can mention the first
Yeah,
Wonder Woman
yeah.
if we want.
I guess
There's
we
not
can
much to
mention
talk
it.
about with that
But
one.
I am against movies where women are the main character. So
Ooh.
yeah.
Ooh, you cannot say that.
But I am though.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
We're gonna get cancelled with our first
Whoa,
episode.
all that
Podcast over.
aside. All that aside.
Podcast over. Never mind.
Yeah.
Back it in, boys.
Right.
Who wants to start?
Okay. Well, at the time,
Yeah.
we'll go over some numbers for Man of Steel first. Why don't we?
Oh boy.
So it had a budget of about 225 million, and smashed that box office out of the park with 668 million raked in at the box office.
Ooh.
So that's good that they cleared double their budget, which is, I'm told by those in the industry, the goal of every movie. Because after marketing, the actual cost of putting the film out there is double the budget. So
Jordan knows these numbers off the top of his head.
I do. I don't have two
Yep.
screens open at the minute. So yeah, smashed out of the park in terms of money, especially since the last Superman movie was kind of just a bit of a wet rag in terms of anything. The Superman Returns.
Yeah.
But came out, got pretty decent reception.
Pretty good.
Wasn't going for any Oscars, but what do you guys think? Man of Steel.
I really enjoyed it personally. Yeah, I remember seeing it in cinema very well, and I remember just really enjoying it. I love the music. I listened to the music for like months after seeing the movie. I read the novel as well. Actually, I actually bought the novel and read the whole novel. So I enjoyed it.
I think I did too.
Yeah, you did. I remember you buying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on sale at Ethan's. But yeah, I mean, it's a fun movie, to be honest. Like over time, whenever you find out about like people on the internet pointing out flaws, which people on the internet do, you can't. I mean, you see the flaws, but at the end of the day, it's a superhero movie. It's meant to be fun. Like I enjoyed it.
I mean, I don't think it asked too much of its viewer.
Yeah.
No.
Especially with like, what year did it come out again?
2013.
13. Yeah. So especially around that time, which was whenever Avengers and everything came out, like superhero movies were just kind of like really blowing up at that time. And back then, we knew Marvel was doing really well, and everyone was kind of thinking, "Oh, DC is like starting all their movies. They're probably going to be on par with Marvel in no time as well." And so that was all exciting, and I think that also built up a lot of hype. Like Man of Steel was cool as well, just because it is a Superman movie, and it wasn't concerned with referencing lots of like the rest of DC. There was like the one reference, which was like the Wayne satellite in the fight with Zod's, like the second half of the movie, and that was really cool. But it wasn't like it wasn't in your face. It was grounded. It focused on Clark Kent for the first part of the movie, which was really good. It also focused on a lot of the Krypton scenes at the very beginning of the movie, which is something that's honestly like fans haven't really ever seen live except for Smallville, maybe? It wasn't Smallville at all.
Krypton.
Yeah, Krypton. There was
a lot.
We saw like the Christopher Reeve movies were with Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was mostly just crystals and white walls.
Oh yeah.
So
I haven't seen those movies in so long, to be honest. Yeah. But yeah, honestly, yeah, it was cool. Yeah, it was a modernized version of Krypton, as much as you can get with CGI. So it was cool, and also Russell Crowe. Can't go wrong. Yeah. Really good actors, actually. That's another thing. Really, really good actors. Amy Adams, really good, and Henry Cavill, really good.
Yeah, Sam.
Yeah.
I remember I liked it a lot when I watched it as well. I think I watched it 4 times while it was in the cinema.
That's right. I remember when we were teenagers that you went through that phase of seeing movies like 15 times at the cinema.
Yeah, I watched the first Hobbit movie 5 times.
That's good going. No, I remember that is commitment. I remember my cinema experience of Man of Steel was a bit tainted. Because we were in the screening a little bit late, so I spent the whole movie in the very front, very left corner.
Oh, that's not.
And so my neck was just twisted at an upward 45-degree angle to the right. And after a while you didn't notice, but it was a bit of a pain. No, I mean, in terms of Superman movie, I suppose it was nice to see in a modern context that they finally gave Superman someone to punch.
He sure did punch someone.
A whole bunch. But no, like after Smallville and after Superman Returns, where Smallville, not a whole lot happened in that show. And then in Superman Returns, like the big action set pieces, he lifts a rock. It was nice getting that over the top destruction and whatnot, even if at the expense of a little bit of logic. At the end of the film.
I also think. It was 2013 that came out. That was like the year after Dark Knight Rises, and everyone was like on the Batman hype at that stage. And like just whenever the Superman Man of Steel got announced, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, like we've seen Batman for a while. DC is really cool. Superman's coming out. It's gonna be cool as well." Who? It was Hans Zimmer as well that did the music, wasn't it?
He did, yeah.
That's right.
Did.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like all that stuff, it was just like the whole build up.
I mean, I guess
who's the director? Sorry, again.
That's
Snyder.
That's why we're talking. We're talking about it.
Sorry. Of course. I had Christopher Nolan in my head for some reason. I was like, yeah.
Well, he was a producer on the movie.
Yeah. That was it. It was all those big names like in the trailer. I just remember seeing, and it's just like the Dark Knight's hype, basically.
I'm pretty sure it was actually his idea to not include an end credit scene, if I'm remembering right, because obviously Marvel were doing it.
Yeah.
Every 20 minutes. I think all of their movies had post credits at that point. But he was like, "Oh, that's not real filmmaking," because he's a real filmmaker.
Yeah.
In every sense of the word. So how do we think Zack Snyder handled it? I mean, coming off the back of Sucker Punch, which has its own it has a cult following. And then 300 is a little bit more mainstream and out there, but again, to kind of mixed reception.
Yeah.
So his influences in Superman. How do we feel about
Don't
that?
forget Watchmen.
Let's not forget that.
That's
That's a
Watchmen.
good point.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I haven't watched many Zack Snyder movies except for like Watchmen and the DC ones, so I can't comment much. I know Watchmen though. Like one of the big compliments he got from that is Zack Snyder is a guy who can tell stories very, very well. So if you give him a story like Watchmen, which is a graphic novel and has everything laid out, he's actually a pretty good filmmaker. Like he's good when he knows the story, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to counter here. I think he's very good at telling stories visually.
Yeah. Okay.
Visually, because when it comes to the story, this is one of my biggest problems with the Watchmen movie, is it misses a lot of what the comic's actually about.
Like yeah. That's true as well.
It shows what's on the page and it puts it on the screen, and it looks very good.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to the actual story itself, he misses a lot of what the comic tried to do. In my opinion, at least.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, with the case of Watchmen, he just wanted to make it more realistic because things he changed were very comic book-like. And I think Zack Snyder is someone who tries to make everything as like when you watch it, he tries to show it visually in a way that it would look in real life, I guess. If real life was also very dark and grey. Yeah.
Yeah.
But is that good?
I suppose that's the question. I mean, I feel like that's a big part of Man of Steel too. Was visuals. That the visuals?
Yeah.
But he had this insanely darkened filter over the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like if you ever see the set photos of Henry Cavill's Superman suit,
I have.
It's an incredible suit.
Yeah, it is.
But then in the movie, it looks like it's halfway to black.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
And I think the studio was probably pushing for the whole dark and gritty aspect because we just got off the back of the Dark Knight trilogy and the Arkham games were becoming popular. And they took what applied to Batman and were just like, well, if we put that over the movie, then we'll get somewhere with it.
I mean, that's definitely a part, but that's also just Zack Snyder's style. That gray filter. Like, if you watch 300, it's there too. Same with Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
Like, he just loves using gray filter like that. So, it's a mix of both, I think.
I think so. It's very possibly the reason the studio got him.
That's true, yeah.
Also, good performance from Michael Shannon as Zod.
Oh yeah. 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 I was going to say something. One of the things I would say as well is, in the case of Superman, they did change the character in a way, in the sense that it was more dark, I guess. Like Superman is meant to be kind of like the shining beacon of hope that like everyone just kind of looks up to, and like a real human kind of guy. Honestly, actually, at the same time, they did that kind of well when they had the whole Clark arc at the beginning of the movie, because it did show the Clark side of it. He didn't just go straight into being like this responsible hero guy and everything, but they emphasized his grieving and everything a lot more, and his difficult times, like growing up as an outcast and everything. And they use that in a way which made Clark very like more recluded, I guess. More introverted is the word. And I guess most other adaptations of Superman, he has a way of dividing his Clark personality and the Superman personality really well. So even though he has been through all that things, Clark Kent is nearly like his mask, where he shows that he is like he has like a pretty good life, he doesn't have all these responsibilities on top of his head. I mean, at the same time, I guess they kind of were going in that direction at the end of the movie, whenever he went to Daily Planets and everything. But
I guess the movie didn't have to do that just because he
Yeah.
wasn't Clark Kent yet. You know, he
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
Smallville kid. He didn't
that's a
have
good
to.
point. Yeah.
He didn't have to put on that persona because when he goes to Smallville, he has to hide the secret identity. No,
Yep.
sorry, not Smallville. When he goes to Metropolis,
Yep.
he has to hide the alter ego of the invincible alien.
Mhm.
But in Smallville, he can just be himself because that's how he grew up, and that's how he acted. I suppose in the Reeve movies before he knew he had powers, and in these movies he grew up with the powers.
Mhm.
So I feel like the Smallville aspects are very much him. But I
Yeah.
feel like maybe where all of these movies miss a beat with Superman is that they're trying to portray this darker universe for him, but they just have Henry Cavill mope around, and that's
Yeah.
all they really do to make it darker.
Yeah. Yep.
To no
Plus
real
the gray
avail.
filter.
Plus the fact that they hate color.
Yeah.
So, anyways, for the sake of not dawdling on, I'm sure we could
Yeah.
talk all day about it.
Definitely.
But I mean, I suppose there is the scene at the end everybody always talks about where Superman fights Zod.
Yeah.
And then he kills something like 5,000 people, I think, that have died.
We don't know the number, but yeah.
I'm pretty sure Zack Snyder said it's about 5,000.
A lot of buildings.
A lot of buildings.
Crashing down. Yeah.
Which we'll come back to in Batman vs Superman.
We will.
Because there's a I love the Doomsday fight at the end of that movie for none of the right reasons. But speaking of, so before we do move on, so Superman kills Zod at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see why that's controversial. He did it in Superman 2. And nobody griped there. So.
Yep.
But Jordan, why didn't he just move his hand up a little more and block the heat vision?
Probably because he didn't want to get his hand lizard.
He's a Kryptonian.
Doesn't mean he likes it.
It would save innocent people.
Yeah, it probably would have, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It was dumb.
I'm just saying, Superman in the comics would have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%. I'm not saying it was good the way it happened. But I'm not upset that he killed Zod.
I think one more thing to touch upon is just that human aspect where, I mean, I get that he is starting out and everything, but I just feel like Superman is always a guy who, no matter what's going on, he's always thinking of other people, and he'll always put other people first and do whatever it takes to defend other people, rather than, I feel like that whole fight was like, it just got really personal really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just about, it went from being about Krypton to being about him and Jor-El, and him just not wanting to turn himself in. Yeah. Basically.
Because like Jesus didn't want to turn himself in, and Zack Snyder made it very clear that Superman's kind of like Jesus in that movie, with some symbolism and a few.
There's some very, very, very subtle symbolism. Like, you really have to watch out for it.
You have to look for it. Yeah. Yeah. Blink and you miss it. And by blink, I mean pass out in the cinema. But yeah. So, anyways.
Cool.
So moving on, there was a 3-year gap between it and Batman vs Superman. I was so hyped.
Man, do you remember? I remember it was. I think it was summer of that year as well. Actually, summer 2013. I remember just being on holiday, finding out in the news that Ben Affleck was cast as Batman, and like emailing it to you, because email is how we converse
on
back
Facebook,
then. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And I just remember like emailing it to you and being like, Jordan, have you heard of this? And you hadn't heard of it yet. And I was like, oh, I found out Batman news before Jordan. Yes.
Oh, it's the one time.
Yeah, and I've never forgotten that. Like I still have those emails buried deep down somewhere. I'm forever gonna hold that over you. But
that's fair.
But yeah, it was just like all that hype, and I'm pretty sure those emails turned into just like us coming up with theories of like what was gonna happen, what was going on, and everything. But man, definitely exciting. And even I remember like whenever the movie title got announced, and it was Batman v Superman, and then it was Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and it was like, yes, yeah.
No, I was one of the guys as well that was behind the Ben Affleck casting from day
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
it worked.
I still like him. He's like if you're ranking Batman, like most of his downfalls weren't really his doing. Like I feel like he portrayed the character pretty well in all the movies.
I feel like in all of these movies there's a running theme, and that is that everybody is near perfectly cast. I don't think I'd change many cast members.
That's very true, actually. Yeah.
But they are let down with what they have to work with.
Yeah.
I think Ben Affleck could have been the best Batman we had, but his debut movie, as it were, was a bit of a hot mess, and we'll get into that.
Yeah.
So initial thoughts out of the cinema.
Yeah.
I didn't like it one bit. How about you guys?
So I've been a bit quiet on this part because I'm the only one out of the three of us that wasn't hyped for this movie. At any point, because when they announced it, I'd already gotten over Man of Steel, that being my good thoughts got vastly outnumbered by my bad thoughts on it. So I had no faith in this movie being any good.
Yeah.
And occasionally there'd be like small bits of hope. Like I remember the second trailer they released, the San Diego Comic-Con one, looked really good. And I'm thinking like, yeah, this could be it. And then at the end of it, they showed Doomsday. And immediately that went away for me.
Yep.
Because, I mean, we can get into this more as well, but I hated his design. It is the most CGI thing imaginable.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the CGI criticisms will come up a lot in these movies, especially with Justice League. We'll come to that later.
Yep.
But yeah, like I don't know. Like I always I would overlook CGI for good movies like all the time. Like, even with like you can nitpick CGI so easily, but yeah, thoughts. What could I say? I mean, yeah, I was hyped as well. Yeah, what were we gonna say, Jordan?
No, I feel like this movie is such like a shift in focus from the direction Man of Steel was going, and then after that, it shifts its focus within the movie about 40 times as it goes forward. And I haven't seen it since it came out either. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Yeah, no, me neither.
I thought about the Ultimate Edition because I'm told, the Ultimate Edition's better or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's the same movie with an extra 30 minutes. And I'm like, well, what if it's not better? And I have to watch a movie I don't like, but it's half an hour longer. That's just worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So
something. Yeah, I would say it has similarities in the way they went about making the movie and writing the movie as Spider-Man 3 did, where they just kept saying like, oh, fan service, more characters, like more fights, more cool action stuff, throw down, like just keep adding it in. And a lot of the time, especially with superhero movies, it's like really easy to overbalance the action with good storytelling. So yeah, I mean, I feel like for it being Ben Affleck, Batman's first debut, like it just didn't do him justice. We didn't get to see enough of his character, if I'm honest. It was more about Batman's hunt, to be honest. Like it was more about him just going after Superman. We didn't really get to see. We barely got to touch upon Bruce or what goes on in his life with Wayne Enterprise and anything at all.
I mean, the way the movie starts off is great.
Yeah,
because you spend 10 minutes and it's Bruce Wayne in Metropolis during the incredible scene.
I do.
I rewatched a few scenes just in preparation for this, and it's great. You see him like saving the little girl and just absolutely doing what he does and putting himself out there, just to save whoever he can.
Oh, I agree. Yeah,
And
definitely.
it's well-founded anger for this living weapon.
Yep.
That's come and just ruined
Yeah.
most of
I
it.
also like how like it wasn't Batman saving it. It was it was Bruce Wayne. It's just this guy who sees there's trouble, doesn't have time to sit up or whatever. Like he just does what he has to do, runs into buildings, saves people, because that's just who he is.
He just rocks up and he's like, "Well, here we are."
Yeah.
You know,
Just
we work
improvise.
with what we've got.
Yeah.
But then after that,
Mhm.
the movie heads out into the desert.
Yeah.
Where Lois Lane has an interview with a CIA escort or something like that.
I cannot even remember all this so well.
It's
apparently the Ultimate Edition makes this part a little better.
Yeah, but
I haven't seen it, so I can't comment on it.
So what happens is Lois has an interview with this warlord or this terrorist or whatever his gig is, and and CIA agent Jimmy Olsen. We don't know this until you read the credits, but her CIA escort was Jimmy Olsen. He kind of looks like him.
Wait,
but then
no,
in the movie,
I didn't even know that.
He gets shot unceremoniously half off screen. And you're like, oh, I guess it wasn't Jimmy Olsen, but no, it was.
No.
Yeah, he's dead. You'll never see him again in this universe.
Can I do spoiler alert here and say a Smallville thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Guys,
never gonna watch it.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I thought it was really sad in Smallville when Jimmy died.
Yeah.
In season 8. Whatever. Doomsday anyway kills Jimmy, and that was really sad because his character was like really, really good. And I just really like Jimmy Olsen, like as a character, like anywhere, like in the comics and everything. So to hear like this guy who we just did not get to hear from at all in that movie just gets shot
in contrast in this movie he was killed by an unnamed African man, and it wasn't that sad because we didn't even know it.
Yeah.
As far as we know, he's a random CIA guy. That's it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
we'll leave it there.
These warlords, anyway, they turn on Superman, or they turn on Lois Lane and her crew, and the kind of head honcho, he takes her hostage, and of course Superman comes and he deals with the guys. And then there's this scene where he bursts through the roof, and this dude is holding Lois at gunpoint. You know, he's the whole hostage taker stance. He's behind her, got his one hand on her wrists, and then the other hand with a gun to her head. And you know, you're kind of like, all right, so how's Superman gonna outmaneuver this? And he just flies into the guy and takes him through like 4 walls.
Yeah,
like just that guy's dead. That guy's 1,000,000% dead.
Yeah.
But then later in the movie, there's a whole Lois Lane detective subplot where she's trying to figure out what's with the conspiracy in the desert, because these LexCorp bullets were found in the corpses. And we think Superman killed all these people in the desert. And Superman says to her, he's like, oh, I didn't kill anyone in the desert. You did, you killed that guy. But,
oh my gosh. Like,
yeah, she's like, oh, here's these LexCorp bullets, and she's she's conspiring with Agent Hatwell, is it? The guy that's actually Martian Manhunter, but doesn't tip his hand the whole time.
Yeah.
She's like collaborating with him, like, oh, this LexCorp bullets were found at the scene. And she knows this, and the audience knows this, but there's still a subplot that doesn't go anywhere, where they're trying to disprove the fact that Superman, killed all the people in that village. Like in the Ultimate Edition, it shows Killian Murphy's character KG Beast, burning the shot corpses with a flamethrower to make it look like he heat visioned them. But even at that, they found a LexCorp branded ammunition at the scene.
Yeah.
Which for some reason is a thing.
Yeah, hang on. Yeah, that's like that's the whole Tony Stark flaw of putting your name on the weapons. Like you just do not do that. That's just silly. Yeah. But yeah, that's something to touch upon then. Like what you said about Martian Manhunter and everything. It's nearly like it is just like a sudden shift in tone, and especially with like just connecting it to comic book movies. Man of Steel was grounded. It was about Superman and everything in its defense. And then you had Marvel, who were coming out with all of these big universe building things. It's like you have a birthday party. You invite a few friends over. Then this other kid that has this massive birthday party. Like everyone goes. You don't get invited, and then you try to throw like an even bigger birthday party. But everyone's already been to the first birthday party, and it's just not as good. Like it's just like throwing in all these references, like Martian Manhunter, Jimmy Olsen. Like it's just the.
Yeah, it's the fact too that Zack Snyder just kills anyone off. Like Jimmy Olsen didn't have anything to do with Jimmy Olsen, so he's like, oh, we'll kill him.
Yep.
You know, Mercy Graves is a pretty big player in comics and movies and the Justice League cartoon. Well, I say a big player. She's big enough that she's around anytime Lex Luthor is. And in this movie, she's just killed in the background of a room that explodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're tangenting because it's
we're tangenting.
But no, what about good scenes in this movie? Because there is some great stuff.
There's one that stands out for me, which I loved when I watched the movie, and I have like I said, I haven't seen the movie since, but I still remember this one. This is the one where Batman's in the Batcave and he is looking through the files and everything of the Justice League members, and the Flash scene where there's like Flashpoint references, or he sees something from the future. I'm going to need you guys to help me out because I can't remember.
You're mixing up two scenes. So there's one scene earlier on where Batman falls asleep at his desk and he has the nightmare vision where he's in the future. Yeah. He's got his assault rifle and he's wearing the trench coat. The dark side.
He's got the goggles.
He's got the goggles. Zack Snyder loves a pair of goggles, man.
Yeah.
I think things aren't good, and then parademons show up, and Superman seems to be in league with them, and it's a bad day. And Batman's just killing people in this scene. This is the first Batman action scene we get, by the way.
Yeah.
And he's just killing people in this dream.
Yeah.
So you can't assume, oh no, he's just straight up shooting people in the head here. This is worst case scenario. But then it turns out he just kills a whole bunch of people in the movie like it's nothing. Yeah. But no, then he wakes up from the dream, and the Flash is coming through a portal in like a futuristic suit, and he says something along the lines of Lois is the key.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that was also a dream because Bruce Wayne wakes up a second time.
Yeah, okay.
In the Batcave.
Okay.
So,
it's just like a few seconds of Flash. That stands out for me.
Yeah.
That's what I like. Yeah.
And then there was the scene later on that you're thinking about where Batman is
through.
Yeah, he's something that'll blackmail Wonder Woman to say, I know who you are.
Yeah.
But and Lex Luthor, he steals some LexCorp files somehow. I don't remember. Something to do with the party that he met Clark Kent at. And he goes ahead. And Lex Luthor has all these like folders done up with the superhero logos. So it's got the lightning bolt, and you click on that file, and it's got video of Ezra Miller in the shop.
Yeah.
And the Aquaman one,
you
click on it, and it's a video of Jason Momoa just floating in the water.
Yeah.
And it's swimming away really fast.
I remember this.
Yeah. And that's how he introduces the Justice League. A slideshow.
Yeah.
At that stage, they really were sacrificing any real vision for just saying, "Oh, we gotta catch up with Marvel." So that's
a lot of this. Yeah, it's like drawing a spider diagram of ideas, and then sending all these writers off to different rooms to come up with scenes with an idea each, like relating to like each leg of the spider diagram, and then bring them all back into the room and throwing it all together into a movie. Like having one group of writers come up with a party scene, another group of writers come up with a portal scene, another group of writers come up with a desert scene. Like it's just really, it's just kind of clashes.
It's not a good time.
Yeah.
As I say, there's about 5 plots going on at any given time.
Yep.
And there's a scene that I forgot about till the other day where Superman, after Lex Luthor blows up a courthouse and that guy's wheelchair bomb. Also, he leaves a jar of pee on that senator's desk. I don't know if you remember that.
He leaves a jar of what?
A jar of pee.
Oh.
Human urine, well, we assume.
Oh.
He's doing
It could be an animal.
It's just in a jar on the senator's desk because he wanted permission from her to do something, and she's like,
she wouldn't give it. Yeah,
she wouldn't give it, and she was like, well, if you piss in a jar and call it Granny's peach tea, I ain't drinking it, or something like that.
Yeah.
So I guess he just peed in a jar and left it on her desk. And there's a moment where there's like a moment she twigs it, and then it's like, oh crap, something's up, and then just the whole explodes.
Yeah.
So
I hate that scene so much.
I hate that Lex Luthor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. It is. I mean, I do get that. Yeah, I feel like this also comes back to something we were saying earlier, which was just a lot of characters in this movie. They're like nearly rewritten in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like you have the names. Okay, yeah, it feels like these guys just haven't read the comics, and they were like, someone might have said, guys, maybe we should read the comics before making this movie, and they were like, nah, if we read the comics, we'll just be making like a comic book movie. We don't want to do that. We want to like make these characters like our own vision. And
I feel like maybe they looked at the pictures of a comic book and went, yeah, looks cool. Let's do that.
You say that, and then you look at Lex Luthor. What?
True.
I almost feel like sometimes it's also the opposite, where they just read like very specific comics, like just one that's like part of like a whole series.
Yeah.
And then just like, hey, Lex Luthor's acting like the Riddler in this one specific comic for whatever reason. That must be how he is all the time. That's what it feels like to me a lot.
Yeah.
Very frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, so we'll move on from Lex Luthor. Nobody likes him. Jesse Eisenberg, though, he's a great actor.
Yeah, he is a good actor, and like you say, like all the actors are good picks. Jesse Eisenberg, I'm sure he would have been able to play a better Lex Luthor. Like he's
with the right direction.
Like 100%. Yeah, definitely.
And writing.
It's like Jared Leto's Joker. That guy would have knocked it out of the park.
Yep.
Given the right director and a better movie and better editing.
We can move on to the actual Batman v Superman part, or do we have anything else to add? No.
Worst action scene in the movie.
There we go.
Do you think? It's a lot.
I feel like they did the fight and they didn't know how to break the fight up, and then they just thought, "Hey, but these guys have the same name for their mother. Let's break the fight up." Like I do. I just don't. Do you think that was like pre-planned? Like from the time, there's no way from the time the movie was announced and everyone was getting hyped up, these guys who were writing the movie thought, they'll fight, but how are they going to stop? Let's make them have the same mother name.
High Top Films makes a very good point in that the Martha scene, although it is the dumbest thing ever, it could work.
I think I'd watch it actually.
It has to work on the principle that Batman hasn't killed anyone, but he intends to kill Superman.
Even then, there's an even easier fix, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, go on.
Which is that Superman just doesn't say Martha; he says Mom.
Yeah.
It already sounds way better. Like
I agree.
It's enough. It's enough to get Batman to pause if he suddenly says it. Because I go, "What he's talking about his mother."
Yep.
And then if he just says "Save my mom" or something like that, they'll do the job. You don't need to say Martha.
It's a discredit to, it's a discredit as well, though, to Batman's detective skills, because we've got the world's greatest detective.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have any detectiving. Like, if this was any other version of Batman, he'd have figured out who Clark Kent was, where he worked, where the people he loved lived. He'd figure out he had a mom and dad. I mean, it's happened before countless times in comics and other media. But instead, he's just like, well, here's this nasty alien. I've met him at a party. He seems to have kind of twigged who I am. I'm just going to kill him. Yeah. I'm just going to do it.
Okay, after we do this, honestly, I'm going to dig up our emails because it's coming back to me. I remember we actually came up with this theory, like, when we were, 12, 13, where they did meet at the party, and Batman did use his detective skills and found out Clark was Superman. Like, we definitely talked about this. I must dig them out. Yeah, that's cool. But
that doesn't even happen at the party. They eye each other up, and
I know. Yeah,
I think they might have already had the confrontation with the Batmobile scene where Superman hits the Batmobile like once.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% up with the continuity.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's got some good moments, that fight though.
Yeah,
but
I'm just gonna come back to that real quick. Sorry about the mum thing.
Yeah.
I think why that's such a good solution as well is just because, like, you're implying it, but it's like if Batman sees that Superman has a human side to him, then a lot will be solved because it's this whole stigma that Superman is an alien from another planet, and
Yeah.
it's the unknown that scares the human race, and Batman in particular, who feels like something actually needs to be done because rightly so, like he's caused a lot of destruction and no one really knows who he is.
Yeah.
So like as far as Batman knows, he is an alien. He doesn't have much connection with the human race. If he says mum, then it shows he has compassion and he has connection and everything. Yeah.
Because that's not a problem with Martha. It's just that if his mother's name had been anything else and he would have said like, "Oh, save Mary," would that have had any effect on him? No.
Save Abigail.
Yeah, I swear he doesn't call his mum Martha like once in those movies. He does call her mum.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure.
One thing I don't get either about Superman's parents, because it happens with John Kent in Man of Steel, where he's like, "Oh, you shouldn't have saved those kids in that bus. They're not ready to know who you are." And he's like, "Dad, they were going to try, and should I have let them?" And he's like, "Yeah, maybe." And then, he's having a bit of an identity crisis on the farm with his mum, and she's like, "You don't owe these people nothing."
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that line.
It's like, you're Superman.
Yeah.
You can't. You might. Like, maybe, I don't know. I don't see how he was raised. He had to really go against a lot of what his parents were teaching him to get to this where he is, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But we never really see that moment, so I don't get the point.
Exactly. That's a big point in the comics. Is the reason that he is, Superman is because of his parents, because of the way they raised him, and the morals they instilled in. Because there's plenty of comics where they show what would have happened if he didn't land with the Kents and how great that goes.
Yes. I mean, I think Smallville did that so well. Like, that's just they were so good at it. Smallville, you could just watch it. It's 10 seasons, and there is a lot of. I mean, it probably it has not aged well, and there is ups and downs. But at the end of the day, it tells the story of Clark Kent really, really well. Like, not Superman, but how he starts from being like really timid, like really introverted because he has to, and he knows he has to because he has these powers and he doesn't really know what they are yet. And he progresses through the show, and his parents teach him all these morals and how and when to use his powers and the responsibilities that he has on the world and how he can expand out of Smallville and like really become a shining beacon of hope. That's like what his parents are like meant to represent and like make him become. And like you said, don't really get to see any of that in Man of Steel or any of the movies. Yeah.
But again, remarkably well cast.
Remarkably well cast. Have to give them that.
But they're not. Yeah, they're not. They're just not given. And especially in this movie, Henry Cavill is given nothing. I think he had like 40 lines total. Like, it was a very Batman-centric movie, which would be fine, except they really didn't do a whole lot with Batman other than give him the drive to kill Superman until they didn't have that because of a stupid reason.
I agree.
But anyways, shall we move on to the next element? So he saves Martha. There's the great warehouse fight where Batman kills a lot of people.
I remember you praising. I remember you praising that scene a lot when it happened, like just because of the choreography and stuff. Yeah,
it's super good.
Yeah,
but he's just murdering people left and right.
Yes.
Even though he just realized that Superman's mom's name's Martha, he's like, maybe I'll let this guy live. What if this guy's name's like mom's name was Martha? You remember that guy? Remember that guy kicked in the head? And like
they were memes, like something. Yeah. I'm sure it was like how she ended or college him or something. Like someone definitely did stuff like that. He's in the warehouse and it's like Martha. Martha.
I remember those. They were good. Yeah.
Like, remember as well that time that he bursts through the wall like in Dark Knight Returns, and he grabs a one-hands an M60 machine gun, and Cillian Murphy, who hasn't done much in this movie, but he's the KG beast apparently. Not that that's ever said in the film, but that's who he is. He's standing there with a flamethrower, and he's like, "I'll literally set this woman on fire." Which, if you want to kill someone quickly, because they think Superman's going to come, like that's their contingency. So a flamethrower, I don't know, but anyways,
yeah.
Batman comes in and he's got this one guy by the throat, and he's just holding an M60 with one hand. But yeah, he's Batman. I guess he could.
Yep.
But his plan of attack isn't, even if he's going to kill this guy, it's not, I'm going to shoot this guy in the head, limit the casualties, and not risk blowing a room up. Instead, he sets the pack on fire and causes an explosion in the room. And, obviously he gets to Martha in time, but that felt like a dumb move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you take that risk? Why would you take that risk? I get you're Batman, but still.
And I wouldn't mind the murderous Batman if we got given a good explanation for it, but we didn't. And Alfred seems to be on board with it the whole way too.
Alfred is definitely on board. Alfred's the guy behind all this. Alfred is like mind controlling Bruce into going down this dark path.
Alfred is the guy loading those machine guns on the plane.
Yeah.
So,
Excellent, Master Bruce.
Ventilate the results.
All according to plan.
But no. So anyways, we get that, and then Doomsday comes about because Lex Luthor reanimates Zod's corpse, and that was the plan all along. Question mark. Or the plan, you see, there's the thing, the plan was to get Batman and Superman to fight. And then he throws Doomsday into the mix. Which I don't get. But anyways, then the fight with Doomsday happens. Several times throughout that fight. And this is the best part for me. And this was definitely the reaction, thanks to Man of Steel.
Yep.
They're like, oh well, there's a monster destroying the city, but thankfully it's after the workday and everyone's gone home. It's 9 o'clock at night. and then later on, they go to Stryker's Island, and the military guys are like, "Oh, he's moved to Stryker's Island. That place has been abandoned for years."
Yeah.
And then Batman's like, "Oh, the Kryptonite Spear. I need to get it back to the city. Luckily, I left it in the docks, which had been abandoned for years." It's like he said something to that effect, like legitimately. He's like, "Oh, thank you."
Yeah. He's like, it's like The Office, like talking to the camera.
Yes.
He's in your face.
You can imagine Jeremy Irons looking to the camera and doing the John Krasinski face.
Yeah.
But no. Also, a bit thick on the government's part, because Superman was punching Doomsday into space at one point, and he could have just kept punching it and sent it out into space, and just because he can't fly, he does big jumps. So
that's true. Yeah.
Had they left Superman alone, he was just punching that thing farther and farther from Earth's orbit. But then they nuke it and bring them both back down. They launch it and nuke at Superman, even though he's clearly handling the situation.
I barely even remember this part.
Yeah, I don't remember this, but I vaguely remember it, and you're right.
Yeah.
What?
They nuke Superman.
Yeah.
Pretty much exclusively to get the imagery from the Dark Knight Returns comic.
Yeah.
Where Superman catches a nuke in the desert or whatever, and he's depowered and he's all frail and skinny. The sun hits him and he rejuvenates, and then he comes down, and then Wonder Woman comes out of nowhere to save Batman's skin at the last minute. And then this is the thing, the end of the movie between Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman against Doomsday, it's a lot of noise. There's some cool shots, but honestly, my brain just switched off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, same. I think I nearly fell asleep at this part, to be honest. But it's like the lack of chemistry between the three of them. I guess it's like you can justify it just because they don't really know each other that well. But it just makes it harder to watch, just because they're all doing their own thing, and they've never trained together before anything. Like they just can't coordinate, so they're all just slashing around, doing whatever they can. It's just
they hold their own, but yeah. Sorry, Sam.
I was going to say as well. Can we bring up Wonder Woman's entrance for a second?
Go ahead. Please do.
The stupidity. Well, first of all, I personally don't like the theme, the Wonder Woman theme.
That's bad.
I just don't think it fits the character at all.
Mm-hmm.
But then when she arrives, and then Batman and turn to each other, and someone goes like, "Is she with you?" And then Batman, the man who met Wonder Woman multiple times previously in the movie, goes, "I thought she was with you."
He has her email address.
Yeah, hang on. That we can't overlook that. Oh my god.
No,
yeah.
So it's one of two things, right? That's either trailer bait, just for the line in the trailer, because it was in the trailer.
Yeah.
Or it was better explained, but it was cut out of the movie, where Batman was like, "Oh, she's a Kryptonian."
I'm inclined to go with the trailer, to be honest.
It's a trailer one. It's a trailer one.
I think so. I'm giving a lot of benefit of the doubt there.
Yeah. Yeah.
They definitely made it like, "Oh, this is gonna be so cool." Everyone in the cinema is gonna be freaking out, and they did in America. Like, if you listen to like the footage that was recorded in cinemas, the people are freaking out.
It's just like the sheer awkwardness of it, though, is like,
yeah,
I thought she was with you, and then like, if you had like some other guy there, just like, Batman, you know her. You guys have met before.
Imagine Wonder Woman herself turns around and she's like, "Dude."
Yeah, literally, yeah. It's.
I think the best part about that, though, is while they're standing there doing that, Doomsday's just kicking some dirt or something off screen.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. And then there's the scene.
Like, what is Doomsday's actual purpose? Like, what? How is his brain working in this exactly? Like, I know he's underdeveloped or whatever, but like, what does he just think?
It's vague zombie parts.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, at least, I don't know, maybe there's an explanation that, it's Kryptonian technology because he came from the ship and Zod's corpse or whatever. But it's not fleshed out. And also, he looks bad. Sam said at the start. He evolves a little bit after he comes back from space. He gets some of the protrusions. But it's so minimal that you wouldn't even see it.
Yeah.
And you kind of think you're watching, you're like, oh, he's going to evolve more as the movie goes on and he'll look like comic Doomsday. He just doesn't.
I'm also going to touch upon the whole Lex Luthor thing behind this as well. Like, it's just not. It's the whole thing about Doomsday is Lex has let his curiosity like exceed his intelligence, which just isn't a Lex Luthor thing at all. Like, Lex would always consider the benefits and the costs and how he can win in the long term. He's never like he isn't a risk taker unless he knows it's in his favor. And like, what is the point?
The best part is that he would not have survived if his plan succeeded, because Doomsday, the first punch Doomsday throws is aimed at Lex Luthor, and this is a massive version of Doomsday. Like, you see Superman at one point holding him by the head, and he has to like wrap his arms around him. But he goes to punch Lex Luthor, and the person that saves him is Superman. So if his plan had worked, if Batman had killed him, or if he was still busy with Batman, then
he's just an idiot.
He really is.
He kind of reminds me of the guy in Batman and Robin who creates Bane, and survives like a minute. It's just
no, it's not good. But then, anyways, Lois Lane goes to get the kryptonite spear because I guess she picked up from context what it does. No one explains it to her. No one says, "Hey, this can kill me. I'm Superman."
No one needs to. She knows. She's Wonder Woman.
Yeah, but here's the thing. No one explains that Doomsday, he's Kryptonian.
Yeah.
So the spear will kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also it's also kind of a like coincidence. Like, Doomsday, sure, he's Kryptonian, but he's also mostly genetically engineered. Like, he wasn't perished in the well, I guess Kryptonian is radioactive, isn't it? So it is kind of meant to imply that it just affects all living.
I mean, I guess. I mean,
I know. I'm overthinking it. Yeah.
You are. You've put more thought into this movie than anyone that made it did. But he was made from Zod's corpse, and I think that's the big.
Okay,
contention.
that's a good point.
And don't forget, Lex Luthor dribbled some blood on Zod's corpse as well.
I did forget that, Sam.
Yeah, I didn't.
It haunts Sam's nightmares.
Yeah, but then this is the thing. There's a great scene. No, it doesn't. There's some great music in the scene where Lois is trapped under the rubble and Superman gets her out, and then he goes back for the spear.
Yeah.
And this is how great Henry Cavill is. He gives her this look, as if say, like, "Oh, you tried to help. Like you would have sacrificed yourself. Yours, like if you had powers, you'd be up here with us," kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes under to get the spear, and he nearly doesn't make it out. She's pull him out because it's made of kryptonite.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a scene where he's looking at Doomsday and he's looking at the spear, and she clicks what's she's like, "Oh no, don't, you'll die."
Yeah.
And the music's swelling. He's like, "Yeah, I love you. This is my world too." But because he's got the same mopey demeanor he's had through the rest of the films, it doesn't seem like that big a deal to him, even.
No.
And it's the same thing in Man of Steel, where there's a great scene where Zod is throwing like his mother's like Ma Kent's truck about, and Superman just snaps and just barrels him through a cornfield and is just punching him, and he's like screaming at him like, "You attacked my mother!" But it's like, yeah, but
anger management, man.
No, but it's like you're always this upset.
Yeah.
Like you're just perpetually just kind of moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like there's no significance to it.
Yeah.
But anyways, as opposed to giving the spirit of Wonder Woman, who isn't weak to kryptonite, and if she hadn't cut off Doomsday's hand, which I mean, in fairness, that's not her fault, but she cuts off the hand, and then he evolves like the spike that he stabs Superman with. But Superman stabs him after Batman nullifies him with the last kryptonite grenade, and they kill each other. And we've done the Death of Superman arc.
Basically, I think we can all agree that the real losers in all these movies are the insurance companies.
The real losers?
Yeah. Because
Well,
they have
maybe
to... Well,
I'd argue...
because then everyone has to make claims and they have to pay everyone.
I'd argue the real losers are the people that watch these movies.
Yeah. I think Sam's onto something. So yeah, the movie ends and Batman's like, "Well, I know I dedicated like a month of my life to trying to kill that guy, but now we have to assemble a team."
Yeah.
Because to replace him effectively.
Yeah.
And also he threatens to brand Lex Luthor, which I think it's hilarious that Batman is branding people.
Oh man, I was thinking of this earlier on, and when I slipped my mind, and I've been thinking like the past 15 minutes. Well, I slipped my mind, but yeah, that was it. Branding. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was just actually just gonna ask you guys like why, like whoa, like because you were talking about how he just straight up kills people, but branding is like along that, like it's just not Batman. Like
it's mutilation, but I'm not against it in a better movie. But it's the point is null because the implication is he brands like rapists and human traffickers, and sex offenders, because he brands that dude that has like a bunch of Asian girls in a cage at the start of the movie, and Batman and the cops find this guy, and he's got the brand on his shoulder, and then you don't see this in the original movie, but in the Ultimate Edition, that guy is stabbed to death in prison because he's got the brand. But here's the thing.
No, I think that is in the original version. I remember seeing that. I think so.
Oh, but here's the clarification. In the Ultimate Edition, Lex Luthor pays other prisoners to stab him.
Yeah, that's in the Ultimate Edition. Yeah.
That nullifies both points. Because I understand he's trying to make it look like Superman's... he's trying to have Superman develop his negative outlook of Batman. That Batman's sending people on his own death row by branding them. But isn't he doing that anyway? Like, that is what he's doing.
Exactly. If the movie wants that to be the purpose, then don't have Batman, branding these people, but instead have Lex Luthor branding them on their way to prison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then his people kill him.
Yeah.
Because like you said...
In prisons in America, if they find out you're a sex offender, they're probably going to stab you anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it also comes back to the fact that Batman branding them is like, it's almost as if it just defeats like all his modesty and everything. Like he wants people to know that he's the one who's stopped these guys. Like Batman is meant to stand for fear, and like he's meant to. I mean, to be fair as well, he's a few years into his career. Maybe he's just got bored of hiding in the shadows, and he does want to just put himself out there more. But at the end of the day, when you think Batman, you think guy lurking in the shadows. When no one's looking, he disappears. He's meant to be kind of like nearly like a rumor, where people say they've seen Batman, and then everyone's like, "What? You've actually seen him?" Like the fact that he just straight up brands people is just kind of, I don't know. Yeah, not fun. But yeah. I think we've wrapped it up, to be honest.
I think I could give out about this movie for days on end because
me too.
Me too. Yeah.
Because it angers me because of its potential.
Yeah. Yes. I agree.
But at the same time, I think it's an easier watch than the next movie we're gonna see or talk about. And that is Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon's 2017 cut of Justice League.
Here we go.
Well,
yeah.
I want to add something first. Do we have anything to say about Wonder Woman specifically?
No.
Like
any?
She was on it.
I think it's a fine movie.
I haven't. I'll be honest. I haven't watched it entirely. I've watched scenes.
Oh, sorry, the Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
Yes, the Wonder Woman movie, because that came before Justice League, didn't it?
It did. Okay. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, I haven't watched enough to talk about, but I can say some inputs. But you guys go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sam was all right. I don't think it adds or detracts from any of the other movies.
I
do think it's on there. It's on the level of Captain America, the First Avenger.
Yeah. Okay, I got that vibe. Yeah.
It's very similar in terms of themes and settings. Yeah. I think it's fine until. Colin, do you care about spoilers for this?
No, I think I know the plot anyway. So go ahead.
Okay, well, I think it's fine up until the point it's revealed Ares is just another big grey villain, and she fights him in CGI smoke. Because it's just the Doomsday fight again. And I remember a lot of the movie. I remember a lot of the action scenes. I couldn't tell you what that Ares fight was about because again, my brain just switches off. But yeah, what about you, Sam?
Yeah, I'm kind of indifferent. I think it probably has more good parts than bad. But I think if this were a standalone movie, like if we didn't have Man of Steel and that was Superman, if those movies didn't exist, it wouldn't be as good. It's just the contrast makes it look better than it probably is.
Yeah,
that's a fair point.
That's a very good point. Yeah, I think it's an enjoyable watch. I mean, I haven't seen the entire film. Yeah, I found a stream of it and I skipped parts and I've seen clips and I know the plot. So it seems good.
Basically seen it.
Yeah, the human aspects of it are quite good. I think like the personal, the non-superhero aspects are quite good. At least like in comparison to Batman v Superman. And
I remember Gal Gadot had pretty good chemistry with Chris Pine.
Yes, definitely. And again, actors very good. Yeah,
I don't love Gal Gadot. I will say that. I think sometimes her acting comes about a bit hollow, a bit wooden even. But not always.
I think she's a fine actress, but
I think for Wonder Woman, she's a good portrayal.
I think, but like she's not irreplaceable. I mean, in the context of this universe, Ben Affleck is a great fit for Batman.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill's a great fit for Superman. Wonder Woman can be played by almost anyone.
Yeah.
In the context of this movie, that's not Gal Gadot's fault. That's the fault of the writing and what they've done with her.
Yeah. I just have to say, I mean, honestly, the reason I haven't watched it entirely is just because it isn't like it is just kind of like an indifferent movie. Like it's a good watch, but to come right after Batman v Superman, which was meant to be like such a big hype and like massive turning points in the universe, it just wasn't worth. It just wasn't worth coming back to like a movie that wasn't as hyped and just didn't set up as much of a turning point, I guess. Um,
I mean, in my opinion as well, this movie should have come out before Batman v Superman.
yeah, yeah.
That's
I
a
think it should.
complaint I
Yeah.
have with Batman v Superman in general. Is a lot of there should have been more
Yes.
before this.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It should have come out before Batman v Superman, and Wonder Woman shouldn't have been in Batman v Superman. I say that.
Yeah. Anyways,
anyways,
Wonder Woman is fine, but
yeah.
it doesn't. I don't think it plays into the Snyder cut, which is why we're recapping these things.
Yep.
So I think
Yep.
we can move on from it.
Let's move on.
So Justice League. This was one of the most expensive movies ever made at the time.
It was.
Estimated production budget was about $300 million, and it didn't really pay off. Worldwide, it made 655 million, almost 656 million, which is 55 million over the rough double mark of a movie. So really, it wasn't worth the studio's time making this movie. And I think right from the outset, it can be seen in terms of quality. The movie, I think, on an objective level, it's better than Batman vs Superman.
Mhm.
But I also think that there are less good scenes to hold it above water.
Yeah. Yeah. I prefer it to Batman v Superman, but Batman v Superman has some good choreography, some good fun moments.
See, I'd rather rewatch Batman v Superman than I would Justice League.
Don't know if I can say that, but yeah.
I think it's a worse movie, but I think it's less boring.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, do we see this in cinema together? I'm pretty sure I saw it with at least one of you.
Yes, I watched it with you, and you came 10 minutes late.
That was I came 10 minutes late. I was stuck in traffic, but yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't think I missed much.
Well, you missed the terrible CGI of them trying to remove the mustache in that first scene with the camera phone footage.
The kids doing the podcast. Isn't that scene much more relatable now that we're doing our very first podcast?
It's still as bad. You can't change your mind.
It's really bad. And, it would be fine, except Henry Cavill's face looks like a PlayStation 2 cutscene. It just looks flat.
Yeah, it doesn't get more obvious that CGI was involved in the removal of a mustache.
Yeah.
Like, even if I didn't know that fact before seeing the movie, you could immediately tell.
I couldn't tell, but I knew something was off, and I couldn't put I just couldn't say what it was, and then I found out after I watched the movie. I was really looking at his face, thinking, "Is that really Henry Cavill? What?"
My favorite part about that story, though, was for anyone that doesn't know, he had the mustache grown out for Mission Impossible. What was it, 6?
Yeah.
But he had to come back for reshoots. I can't speak. He had to come back for reshoots of Justice League. But he was contractually obligated to have a mustache.
Yeah.
And whatever studio does Mission Impossible, we're unwavering on that. And Warner Brothers were like, let him shave, and we will pay for you to CGI on a mustache, which would have been much easier than taking it off. But the other studio, I don't remember who does the Mission Impossibles. But the other studio were just like, haha, no.
Skydance and Bad Robot.
Which is hilarious to me that they would not bend the knee on that.
Yeah.
They're just like, haha, your movie's gonna look bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was just gonna say that. It's like I can just imagine them like sitting behind the sound deck, like the sound deck's just saying, "Wait, don't tell them that he can shave, but like just keep it going for a while."
He's not contractually obligated to do anything.
Yeah. We don't own him. He's been paid already.
He's an adult with rights and things. Yeah, but no, it's
not it's not the most memorable movie, like by any means. Like no. I remember bits and pieces, but I just can't put the scenes in order or anything. Some characters stand. Yeah, sorry.
No, as the one person that saw it first. It's not first. As the person here that saw it twice in the cinema. Once with I think my sister was going with her friends.
Yeah.
And their dad was going. So I was like, whatever, I'll sit with him. And then my girlfriend wanted to see it, so I went with her a few weeks later. And the first watch, again, it was fine, but it wasn't memorable. The second watch was a drag.
Mm-hmm.
But I can try to break down the plot in a minute for you if you want.
Depends how we're gonna do this. If we want to go plot by plot, then yeah. Or if we just want to like touch on things that come to our heads, then
yeah. I mean, maybe we'll just try to keep it chronological. But
okay. I mean, I was just gonna mention some of the good things. Like, again, I like the actors, and Flash and Cyborg really stood out for me. I actually really enjoyed watching most of their scenes. I enjoyed watching most of the Flash scenes, to be honest. I didn't like a lot of his dialogue, but I liked watching him actually be in scenes and do his lightning bolt stuff. So that was cool. Cyborg's origin was in that movie, wasn't it? It was.
Cyborg's origin was in an email Batman got in Batman v Superman. But yes, it was vaguely.
Yeah, okay. Was it like a flashback or something?
In Batman vs Superman, he opens up the email with all the superheroes in it.
Oh, yeah, okay. I remember that.
I think it's something like his dad is operating on him on like a vertical table. And then Cyborg's chest like lights up and he turns off the camera, which isn't. Anyways, he turns off the camera and then Batman's like, oh, what was that guy on the table? And then moves on to
No. I remember there's a lot of origin points in Justice League for Cyborg because there's a whole segment which is about Cyborg becoming Cyborg and being like really scared, and then like running like during the Justice League, like trying to figure out his powers.
When the movie starts, he's already in his dad's apartment, just hiding with a hoodie on.
That's it.
Yeah, he's got the hoodie on. You can see the red light glow through it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's where I came in to the cinema, to be honest.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was.
I remember that. Yeah. Yep. Okay, cool.
There's an incredible scene before that where, and I say incredible because it's hilarious, where there's this robber. And when I say robber, I mean like cartoon robber. Mm-hmm. He's dressed in black. Yeah. He's got a hat on. And he's got like a Hessian sack of money. Or like jewelry or something.
Yeah.
It's a step away from having a dollar sign on the side. And Batman's waiting to catch him. And Batman, he starts shooting at Batman, but Batman's swinging about and he ties him up and he holds him off the side of the building. And he's like, hey, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, they can smell fear. And this guy's like, what the hell are you talking about? And then this parademon attacks and Batman wrestles the parademon in the sky.
Yeah.
And the parademon explodes and leaves the mark of 3 boxes in a wall.
Wow.
And then Batman just lets this robber go. He's like, all right, you've served your purpose. And he's talking to Alfred over the comms. He's like, hey, Alfred, you seeing this? He just calls him Alfred in front of the robber.
Yeah.
And the robber asks him something. He's like, I think it's something along the lines. He's like, oh, are they attacking and Superman's gone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, that's it.
And Batman's like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
You can tell Ben Affleck was not interested in this movie.
Yeah.
No.
Which is a shame because he had a lot of enthusiasm for Batman v Superman, and he came out as like a massive Batman fan. He has like a panic room in his house that's got like a Batcave entrance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think after the absolute kicking Batman v Superman got, he was just like, why?
Yeah.
Well, there's another thing because he also did a movie called Live by Night.
We watched that. Like me and Jordan watched that.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you have? Oh, okay. No, it wasn't you then. I saw it was someone. Oh, whatever. Okay. Yeah, I saw it in cinema. Yeah, but it was a good movie.
It's like gangster type movie.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But that movie, that movie came out in I think like early 2017.
Yeah,
I think it came out before Justice League anyway. But if you look at like the interviews he did for this movie, Live by Night, all the interviewers would ask him would be, oh, when are you going to do the Batman movie? Are you excited for Justice League? Is it going to be good? Nothing else. It would just be about DC. And you can just see in the interviews, he just doesn't care. Like, he just wants to talk about his movie, and they keep bothering him with this other stuff.
It kind of is like a stigma, I guess, just being in the superhero industry. Like, it's just the hype of superhero movies is unlike the hype of like anything else. So if you are a superhero actor, you're just like that's going to be probably the biggest thing you're going to be known for, unless
Yeah,
you
it
become
is.
a different superhero like Chris Evans did when he became Captain America. Like yeah,
I think
Yeah,
that's fine if. No, you go, Sam.
I was gonna say that stigma also exists with like actors in sitcoms, specifically long-running sitcoms,
true.
where they'll only be recognized for that specific role
Yeah.
and
In
nothing
fairness,
else.
I think that's more difficult for them because with TV show actors on long-running shows, they can sometimes find it a lot harder to like get a stepping platform like anywhere
Yeah,
else.
yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Um.
Anyway, Jordan, you were saying
Yeah.
something, and I
No.
brutally interrupted.
You did, you son of a gun. No, I was just gonna say, I think that's fine to be typecast as like the hero and be that the only thing that people are worried about for a while. If it's good, because there doesn't seem to be anybody in like the Marvel Cinematic Universe that's like, oh, would you shut up about Iron Man? Like, they
Oh
all
no,
love
there is
this.
one. There is one.
Oh, was there?
It's
Which-
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh, that's right. But I mean, well, she's a snake oil salesman, so
No,
like,
because like just 2 days ago, I think, from when we were recording this, she was asked by someone if she'd ever come back to the MCU, you know, as
Mhm.
Pepper Potts.
yeah.
And she said, only if it's like for 5 minutes.
She's
I remember
well truly done.
Yeah, like people got upset because they were like, "Oh no, why wouldn't you want to come back to this great role and all this random stuff and all that?" But yeah, no, she does not. She does not
Yeah.
care
Yeah.
for the MCU.
Well, it's not. I mean, I guess that's fair because it's not like after Iron Man 2 or maybe 3. It's not, I think 3. I don't think she had anything crucial to do after that.
Yeah. Yeah. She was pretty big in 3.
Yeah.
The thing is as well, her,
I mean,
the MCU didn't start her career either. Like she already had
No.
a good film career going before Iron Man,
Yeah.
which
Quick,
sometimes isn't the case for other people. Yes, sorry.
yeah. Quick side note, I was gonna say on that topic that you're talking about film career, her film career. Have either of you seen Contagion?
That's a good
No.
movie.
It is a
I've
good
heard
movie. Yeah, yeah, recommend it to Sam. She's in it and she's quite good. It's very good if you're living in the COVID-19 pandemic. It's a good watch.
Or
But,
not good
yeah.
because it might upset you. It's a very realistic film.
It's freakishly realistic, and this is sorry everyone. Like this is a bad topic. I just want to make a quick note. Like it's it didn't get enough hype whenever it came out,
Mhm.
or it was overlooked just because it was so unrealistic back then. But like
Gosh.
if it came out now, it would be big. Yeah, it would be massive. Anyway,
Yeah.
we're going off tangent. Back.
That's great. That's a great
Yeah,
movie. Watch Contagion.
yeah. Watch it. Recommend. Maybe we'll do a video about that or podcast about that sometime.
Yeah, maybe.
But what were we saying anyway?
But no, we were talking Justice League, and Ben
Yeah.
Affleck just isn't there for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see he's not as in shape. He's not.
That's
you can
true.
tell he's not like
That's
he doesn't
true.
really have a scene. Like say what you will about the Martha scene. Say what you will about anything Batman v Superman. Ben Affleck put an effort.
Yeah.
That guy was acting with his face and with his voice. You know, as actors tend to.
Yeah.
But like he was there, like the emotion was there, the anger was there.
Mhm.
But in this movie, he's just like,
yeah.
That's the emotional range.
He's like he's like the dad who's been told he has to pick his kids up from school and he just really doesn't want to.
I have to pick up my kids and assemble a Justice League and
Yeah.
my stunts go way down.
I just want to stay home and make my model airplanes. God.
Alfred.
Alfred is. We keep coming back to Alfred. He's just such an iconic character, and like, what this is something I thought about. What do you think Alfred actually does, like in his free time? Like whenever he isn't in the Batcave, like handling person stuff. Like, do you think he goes out, meets friends? Like, what are his hobbies?
I think he mostly just sources cheap ammunition for Batman. Just burn through all the vehicles on people, no less. Because Batman's always coming back with like a wrecked suit or a wrecked car. Like you see in those movies, Alfred's just welding crap to it.
Yeah.
You know, like he's just there doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Alfred just lives in constant fear. I'm scared of what Batman will do. As we say, this Batman's willing to just kill people on a whim.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think if Alfred's like, "Yeah, I quit. You've gone too far," he's just scared that Batman's going to just rip his head off. Because if you look at the size of Ben Affleck, he could probably do it.
Yep, that is true.
I'd just like to point out on what you said about Ben Affleck, how like he's not in the same physical shape and such. That's because at the time he was having a big drinking problem.
Oh, I thought that was
right.
after.
Like,
no, you're right.
No. I looked up a quick article here, and he's quoted in it as, "I started drinking too much around the time of Justice League."
Oh, that checks.
So,
damn.
yeah.
I feel like we should. Yeah, on a sad note, we should also mention about the whole Zack Snyder thing, about his daughter and everything, and having to switch directors. Like that definitely did impact the movie. And I mean, clearly because we're now having a Snyder cut, so
yeah,
so
which
for
should
anyone,
hopefully be better. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so for anyone that missed it, Zack Snyder was to direct this movie, follow up Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and unfortunately his daughter committed suicide during the production of the film, and he took time off to be with his family and kind of just deal with that. So the studio brought in Joss Whedon, who directed Avengers 1 and Avengers 2, to come in and finish things. And you can see a massive tonal shift. Obviously, I think Zack Snyder was right to do that. I don't think 100%. There's a soul on earth that holds that against them.
Mm-hmm.
I think the reaction most people gave was to blame Joss Whedon, but I mean, in any situation, no one was having a good time there, especially the Snyder family.
Yeah. Well, the thing is as well is that there was this misconception, I think, by many people that Justice League was completely done.
Mm-hmm.
And that Joss Whedon came along and he was just like, "No, I don't like any of this. I'm reshooting half the movie."
Yeah.
And in part, I definitely think that's true. Like, they were definitely reshoots of things that were already filmed.
You can see his influence.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think it's a case of the movie was completely finished. Like that was what the calls for the Snyder Cut started with. Like, release the Snyder Cut as in it's already done.
Yeah.
Which the release of the actual Snyder Cut now proves that's just not true.
It cost them $70 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To put out a 4-hour movie. I mean, that wasn't the original vision.
Yeah.
No.
It's possibly more in line. But I don't think the Whedon Cut changed anything that drastically, other than the tone and the pacing.
Yeah. Like, I believe that he had them remake a couple of scenes so they would fit more with his tone. Yeah.
For the worst, I think.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I mean, looking at the reception, because early reviews are out of the Snyder Cut. We can't see it yet. It's not out for another 2 days, I think.
Well, technically 1 day from this.
1 day. We're filming this 1 day. But
the 18th.
Yeah, the 18th. It's out on the 18th. And the reception seems to be, everyone seems to think that it's a better movie in every aspect than the original Justice League, which
I think honestly it's more everyone just wants a movie to look forward to, and it's also a DC movie which no one has seen in a while. Like, whether it's going to be good or not, it's something to watch. Like,
you say that, but we had a DC movie. We had 2 DC movies last year. One of which came out in December. Do you remember what that movie was? Because no one else does.
Give me a second. I'm gonna need help.
December 2020.
Yeah, it's Wonder Woman 84.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my God. Yeah, that came out like 2 months ago.
Didn't watch it, but wow. Okay, yeah. Jeez, wow.
And then at the beginning of last year, we had the Harley Quinn movie.
Yeah, I do remember that one. I saw that one in cinemas.
Didn't watch it.
Oh.
Wait, was it any good?
Fine. And it was alright.
Okay.
Look, it was better than Suicide Squad.
I was just about to ask if it was better than Suicide Squad. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Which I mean, it's better than one of the worst superhero films ever made in recent history.
And happily, we
like
all seem to have agreed to just skip Suicide Squad in this recap of the Snyder-verse as well.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into that movie.
I actually have watched that one as well. Yeah, I can.
All right, hold on. Let's touch. I'll touch on Suicide Squad as much as anyone needs to.
We're gonna be here all night.
We're gonna be here all night.
We are. There's no plot worth talking about.
It's bad.
That's it.
Killer Croc. Full stop. that will be all.
It's not. It's
not.
It's no good. It's no good.
No.
Please don't watch it.
Trash.
Please don't.
Please save yourself. It's a pity. There's a great cast all around.
Yeah.
All around. But they do nothing with anyone.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to Justice League. Speaking of cast, this is where I think DC made its first misstep in casting. I don't like Ezra Miller as the Flash. I think he's funny. I think he has some good jokes and he has decent comedic timing. That characterization of the Flash, though, it's just too much.
I blame the characterization. Yeah. I think in terms of appearance and his acting ability, he could have been better. But yeah, you can't really justify that. Like bad writing, like bad portrayal of character doesn't really. You can't really say. Yeah, and bad jokes. I enjoyed watching him. Like I enjoyed watching him be the Flash and do Flash things, but the character itself, it probably comes down to the fact, like the similar point you made about Wonder Woman. Like so many people could have just played that character, and it would have worked fine. Yeah.
I think maybe the Flash's inclusion in this movie, or his portrayal in this movie, maybe is what, if I were to put money on it, which I wouldn't. I think maybe is what saw the biggest impact of Joss Whedon coming back was the overall portrayal of Flash. And that's just a red hot guess.
Yeah.
I kind of doubt it.
I kind of doubt it. I mean, wait, was he working? Was he working on the movies before he was called to do the director?
No.
Or no, he wasn't. Yeah, I mean, this probably isn't true as well. But like, what you can imagine is Zack Snyder couldn't direct, and then Avengers was a success. They knew he did like collaborative superhero movies good.
Yeah.
So they were like, hey, get this guy on. He'll totally save our collaboration superhero movie. Joss Whedon comes on and he's like, guys, this isn't how you make a superhero movie. I'll show you how you make a superhero movie. And he changes it.
He did the best that he could with.
He did the best what he worked with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the worst movie is his fault either.
No.
I mean, he was handed an impossible task.
Yeah, it's just bad choices. Bad. It's just a bit of a mismatch of putting.
It just comes down to conflicting visions.
There you go. That's the words. Yeah. Yes.
That's it. Because since Jordan mentioned it, I looked at a couple of these early reviews for the Snyder Cut, and pretty much what they all say is this is the intended vision. This guy says no one can deny the quality between Snyder and Whedon in how they are nothing alike in their filmmaking, really, apart from they turn the camera on. Yeah. But from then on,
Yeah.
There's too much difference between the two directors.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
Justice League is proof of that.
A better stab would have been to get like Chris Nolan back, since he worked on Man of Steel and since he.
That's a good point.
Yeah. But also, you can't just say, "Well, get this direct." I mean, he was doing. I think he was
Christopher Nolan. He's a busy guy.
He was knee deep in Dunkirk at the time, I think.
Oh yeah, fair.
Yeah,
anyways,
I think so.
We'll batter on a little bit. And what else I have here? So I think the biggest thing. I mean, there's not a lot you can say about Aquaman in the movie. He's rough and tough, and he doesn't want to join. And then there's an underwater fight, and then he joins the Justice League. Wonder Woman, there's not much to say about her. There's a little bit of conflict with Cyborg, but not a lot. And as I say, even Batman is less interesting in this film. But I think the biggest thing is when they bring Superman back. And I don't know, what do you guys think first? Like bringing him back from the dead like that.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't kill him in the first place. Don't have Doomsday in the first place. What I would say.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Also, it's kind of funny. I'm just looking at the Wikipedia page. Like the actual plot of the movie. The plot of the movie is so short. It's like 3 or 4 paragraphs long.
Well, it's shorter than the other two movies, and it is like nothing happens worth talking about.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, most of what we've talked about has been production issues.
True.
But no, I think, I don't know, I think it's a bit of a jumbled mess the way they bring him back. And he's angry, he's fighting everyone. And then Batman brings Lois along and she calms him down. And I guess that's meant to be the full circle of Flash showing up through a portal and saying Lois was the key all along. And that prevented the Nightmare World. I don't know. I thought that was the implication, but no. Then later in the movie, again, you get one of these side fight scenes where your brain just turns off because it's all just everything's the same color. In this case, dark red. The superheroes are all fighting Steppenwolf and the parademons, and then Superman shows up. And in fairness, it's a great scene where the Justice League are having trouble bringing this guy down, and Superman comes in. The original John Williams theme gets a hint in there, and then Superman just ruins this guy's day. Like, Steppenwolf can barely even keep up with him. But I also think that it kind of defeats the point of the Justice League. When for 5 of them together, or 6 of them, whatever it is, when they have a task that they can barely struggle to keep their head above water, and then Superman comes in and it's nothing to him.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you need the rest of them?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like having Steppenwolf as well is a bit of lazy writing because they've kind of just resorted to the big action fights at the end kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like there isn't much. There's no brains. There's no like team working thing. It's just fight together. That's all. Like don't get mad. Like just yeah.
I mean,
Well,
ultimately, you go.
Okay, so here's my take on Justice League, and which is basically just that I think this was supposed to be 2 movies. Like just straight up, it's throughout the movie, it's very obvious that the first part was going to be Steppenwolf, and then at the end, Superman gets resurrected and he beats Steppenwolf's ass, and then it ends with Darkseid looming over Earth or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And then the second movie was going to be about the actual Justice League, coming together as a team with Superman.
Yeah.
And then defeating Darkseid.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that the Snyder Cut is 4 hours long kind of proves that was the intended plan.
I think, I think yes and I think no. Because as far as I've been told, and not to spoil the Snyder Cut in any way, but as I've heard, it ends on a cliffhanger.
Oh
of
no!
Some sort.
Please,
we need Snyder Cut too.
Well, that's the new hashtag going around. It's continue the Snyder-verse.
No, don't.
So we're doing this again, boys. We're
doing this
watch
again.
people scream about how great Zack Snyder is, and apparently Warner have no plans to continue the series of movies with him. But I think they'll reverse card that one if
it depends how much money this brings in.
Yeah,
that's what it'll always come back to.
Yeah.
And I think if not for Zack Snyder's sake, but if for all the actors' sake, like Henry Cavill, he was very enthusiastic about Superman. Ben Affleck's very enthusiastic about Batman, and I think those people deserve a second chance at the characters.
I mean, it's whether they're still enthusiastic or not, though, at the stage.
Well, this is it too, and this is the catch-22 of the situation, is that if Warner Brothers continues with a readjusted vision from Zack Snyder, they know what people want, or with other debatably more suited directors, and the cast don't want to, well, then one negates the other.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But apparently the Flash movie is in pre-production still, as it has been for the past 5 years.
Well, apparently Ben Affleck's coming back for that. And Michael Keaton.
Ooh, interesting.
So they're going to be apparently it's going to be multiverse shenanigans.
Yeah. One thing I'll say about Justice League is the Deathstroke scene was cool.
And moving on. You mean was it an after credit scene or like a mid credit scene? On the
one of them.
boat
Yeah. I
or
can't actually
something?
remember the scene, but I thought Deathstroke was cool. So
I just remember that there was a scene with Lex Luthor on like a big private
that was
boat
it. That was
yacht,
it. Yeah.
and then yeah, he just appears out of the shadows. I think so. I remember it.
He rides up on a little speedboat of his own.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And Jesse Eisenberg says, "I guess we're going to need to form a league of our own."
And then cut the credits. Everyone leaves.
Yeah.
Imagine cover of Imagine, not Imagine. Come Together, please.
Oh,
It's like the how it should have ended whenever they make the villain's pub.
Yeah, it was a
Literally.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd be cool to talk about the DC animated movies at some point as well, because there's a lot of gems there.
There's a lot of good in those.
Yeah.
And a lot of better films.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ultimately.
Um,
So final thoughts. I mean, I think we should think about wrapping this up.
Bad.
Yeah, no good. In my opinion, Man of Steel is the only good movie out of these three.
I disagree.
You just think they're all bad.
I just think they're all bad.
Entirely fair. Colm? Colm? We still have you?
Is he in deep thought?
He's in deep thought or he's died at his keyboard.
That would be an unfortunate way to start the podcast series.
apologies. I could add for bits. What was the question? Sorry.
Oh, just what I think. Final verdict. We're wrapping up here.
Final words of
yeah.
Justice League or all three?
All three or both, whatever you want. You choose.
All three. I'll rank them. So, looking back on them and how much I enjoyed them all in cinema and stuff like that, Man of Steel is probably number one for me. Then, it's very difficult to compare. Justice League was had fun aspects, but I also can't really remember a lot like scenes of it. So I'll, like just going off that, put that last and Batman v Superman second. Yeah, I mean, final thoughts is hopefully Snyder Cut's pretty good, and yeah, yeah.
I'm not too skeptical at this stage of the Snyder Cut being good.
Yeah.
But I'm curious if it'll be worth.
Yeah, I'm curious. We'll talk about it when it comes to it.
We will. We'll do an episode.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
I think that does it.
I think that's actually. Yeah, we've recapped. I mean, for anyone listening, by the way, like we're recording this ahead of time, but it is 1:15 in the morning here, so
yeah.
We're all kind of tired, but it's been really fun and it's been a really good episode.
That's up to you, really.
Yeah.
But please stick around for the years to come, where our audio quality becomes bearable.
Yeah. Baby steps. We're learning.
Steps. Yeah. We're contractually obligated to start utter garbage, so
yeah.
That's how this be. But no, I mean, we'll come back to it. I think the next episode we're thinking of doing is either Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 1, or we'll do the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, or it could be neither of those, and we could just ramble on for hours in the next video about stuff that we've never mentioned ever.
Yeah, or it could just be that. It could just be we have a fit at the keyboard. But we'll see. We're planning on releasing all three at once, so we'll hold off, and we'll just absolutely rearrange our our college full days to make it possible to record.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Cool.
In the meantime, there should hopefully be a few posts up on our Instagram at Podcast of Solitude.
Follow us.
And follow us there.
We're very cool.
Yep.
And we might have another few social medias popping up in the future, but that's
We'll
the one
see,
that
we'll see.
exists.
Link in the
Yes.
description below. Maybe not. We'll see what
If-
our platform is.
Depending on where this goes up or if it ever sees the light of day.
Yep.
True.
Could be never.
Hopefully not. We'll see.
Hopefully this.
But,
hopefully.
Yeah.
As we
Cool.
say, this is an excuse for us to actually talk on the regular, and hopefully just give the people out there that are in solitude in their fortresses
Something to listen to.
something to listen to.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about this stuff anyway, so.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a normal day.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All night.
So if you want to find us, as we say, the Instagram Podcast of Solitude or podcastofsolitude@gmail.com, you can reach us either of those ways. And other than that, until next time.
Yeah. Stay breezy.
Never
Yeah,
say that
bye.
again.
Stay
Yeah.
cool.